Video rental stores were an essential part of life in the 1980s. Driving to a video store and seeing thousands upon thousands of movies and games to rent was a family tradition that stuck around throughout the 80s, 90s, and even the late 2000s. You just felt right at home.
Blockbuster Video, wow, what a difference!
Plus, it's also one of the places where horror movies got the most exposure through the video rental market. And of course, that bell sound. Ironically, as big chains like Hollywood Video and Blockbuster went under due to the rise of streaming services like Netflix, there was one rental store that stuck around. It's called Family Video. I recently discovered it in March of this year, and I felt comfortable again. The setting was inviting, the people were friendly, the selections were nicely organized. There are even titles that I remember seeing covers of as a kid, but I never rented them. It was exciting. It was like being at a Blockbuster without actually being in a Blockbuster. If you grew up with video rental stores between the late 90s and 2000s or so, you'd understand how much it meant to me seeing one of these places again. But with a recent COVID-19 pandemic still ongoing, Family Video hung in there. But sometimes you have to pick your battles. And some stores decided to shut its doors. The one I'd gone to a few times before was closing down. While there, I decided to interview someone who worked there to share his thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, my name is Bradley Elmore. I've worked here at Family Video for 4 years.
How did Family Video outlive Blockbuster? What did Family Video do that Blockbuster could not?
One of the big things that Family Video and it's actually called Highland Adventures is the overall umbrella of what they own. They do tons of things. Like they do real estate. They have a pizza place, a gym, they do tons of things. So in short, we own this whole building and we rent out the vacant spots. That brings in a lot of money. And, they're always trying to do something different, something new to stay alive. We started selling CBD products. It's just, you got to adapt, to the current time. And they did whatever they could, wherever they had to stay afloat.
It's hard to imagine, but Family Video has been around for 42 years. That's right, they've been around ever since 1978. For some people who grew up in the 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s, seeing an operating video store is special. Walking into a video store for the first time in many years, you could tell that there's a very special kind of feeling when you walk into those doors. And there's a good reason for it.
For me personally, it's very nostalgic. When I was a kid, I used to live just, a couple blocks over here. And, we would go to the video store and get a few movies, or even back before Family Video was at this location, Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, places like that. There's a Sona Video. It's just being able to go in, to look around almost like a giant library of movies, games. There's nothing like it anymore, even in stores, like their video section. Everything is all online. Which is nice, it's convenient, but I don't know, there's nothing like just going into a store and looking around for movies, reading the cases, finding something you might not have been looking for. It's just not the same,
And to set the record straight, there was never a single feud between Family Video and Blockbuster.
I mean, they definitely competed, sure. I think, everybody in the industry, between Hollywood Video, Family Video, Blockbuster, whatever, everyone's competing, renting videos, and you're always trying to one-up the other company, and that happens everywhere. There's no way around that. You're always going to be competing with somebody. And over the last, I don't know how many years, Family Video has been the one and only remaining franchise, which has been obviously. And I think another reason why we stuck around too is because we were the only one left. We stuck it out further past Blockbuster, and when that came to be, we were the only ones here.
If Family Video had been around for a very long time, then why did so many other video rental chains go under?
Honestly, a lot of it has to do with streaming. Netflix is so easily accessible. There's tons of movies on there. Hulu, just the number of streaming services now. I have them too. It's just so easily accessible nowadays, and don't have to leave your house, you don't have to leave your bed. Honestly, you can watch it on your phone. There's a lot of people who love the nostalgic feeling of coming to a store, so they still come. But I think a lot of people, once they get turned on to streaming and things like that, it's easier. It's a lot easier to find stuff, And even if it's not streaming online, there's ways to look up on YouTube movie clips or things like that. It's always progressing, and video stores are unfortunately becoming a thing of the past. And as sad as that is, it just is what it is.
What do you believe will make video stores come back from the dead, essentially?
Well, one thing is the nostalgic factor. For a lot of people, I think my age, I'm 25, I'd be 26. I still went to video stores to rent movies and things like that. And if you look at vinyl, like records, those are becoming popular again. We went from that to tapes to CDs and everything. So it's cool again, And if some stores can hold out and keep going, I think there might be at some point a surge of nostalgia. Video store. Because I've had people come in over the last few years, just who live in states that don't have video stores. And they're I didn't even know these existed still, So I think at some point it'll hit that mark. And aside from that, you just got to be current. It's always something new. You got to keep finding. You can't just I'm going to do videos and that's it. Because that's why
you got to get the audience's attention somehow. You
got to have something newer, something that people are going to notice, something that's going to adapt the store. Because things are always changing.
Even though we may be partially responsible for the downfall of rental stores, me, Bradley, and Family Video, on the other hand, believes that there is some kind of hope for video stores.
Family Video, it says right in the name, family. It's family owned. I always tell people I've been here 4 years, and I've made some of my closest friends working here in the last 4 years that I met here. It's just that bond over movies and films and TV shows that connects people.
The connection's there.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who doesn't like some kind of movies, some kind of shows, and that connection with customers is there too. If we can't find it, I'll help somebody find it somewhere else. It's just that whole dynamic of just the connection of the movies brings people together. Is one of the things I don't know how much longer they're going to be around. It's something I wanted to experience, and I've loved it for the last 4 years. It's been awesome.